I'll have one Ansible control server. Okay, so this will be a machine from AWS. This will be a machine from AWS, and I'll be taking a Linux machine, obviously, because we have said that control server has to be a Linux machine. I'll be taking a flavor of Linux which is called as Ubuntu. All right, but you can do it on any other operating system. Red Hat, you need to have subscription. If you want to try Red Hat World, use CentOS. Don't use Red Hat, right? Because Red Hat has a different way of installing Ansible. Okay. Now, apart from this, I'll have some more servers, right? And now, whenever I want to do anything on these servers, I'll be writing the YAML file or a playbook over here, and then sending it over here. For that to happen, I need to have one setup. What is that setup? A user is required on all of these servers. Yes or no? Which Ansible will use to log in. So the first step which we need to do is we need to create Ansible user. You can call any name, but I'm calling it as an Ansible user because this is a username which Ansible will be using for logging into these machines. Will this user do installations? Yes. Yeah, because sometimes we might need to install web servers, Java, or whatever it is. So whenever you need to install, you need administrative permissions, right? So we'll be giving him sudo access to. That is our second step. These are very common kind of stuff. These are not technical at all. ఒక యూజర్ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం అన్ని సిస్టమ్స్లోని. యూజర్ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తే అతనికి ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసే పర్మిషన్స్ ఉండవు. సో దట్స్ వై వీఆర్ యాడింగ్ హిమ్ టు ద sudo group. We are creating the user, giving him permissions of whatever level which we want. And then the third one is from ACS, which is Ansible Control Server, login into systems with key based authentication. Make sense? So these are the three important steps which we will be doing on every machine. So you have to create a machine user on all of these machines. So the next question is, in the enterprise, how do you manage this? In the enterprise, how do you manage it? So for your existing infrastructure, there is already an administrator user. So that will be Ansible user. But if you are starting new, what I will do is I'll create one machine with all of this. I'll take the image of this and then I'll create all the other machines with the same image. So what is happening? Ansible user is there. Everything is configured. So that's how we manage in the enterprise. So we'll take an image where you have Python installed and Ansible user created. Ansible user created. So there is no need for you to do this every time for thousands of servers, right? But if it is in the existing setup, there is already an administrator user. Try to use it as an Ansible user. You can give any user for that matter. Is it sounding logical? Yeah, is the step clear to all, and or are there any confusions in this? So for the people, how many of you didn't understood this concept? అందరికి అర్థమైందా? అర్థం అవ్వకపోతే చేతులు ఎత్తొచ్చు కదా. మనం నేర్చుకోవడానికి వచ్చింది ఇక్కడికి. వినటానికి వచ్చామా? వినటానికి వస్తే గొడవ లేదు. If you have came for listening, no problem. But if you have came for learning anything, if you are facing problem over here, please do ask on this. So on all these 5 servers, one person should be able to log in. So most common thing to have is we should have a username on all of these 5 servers. Yes or no? Yes. And now that is what we are doing as a first step. Now this user, after logging in, what is that he is supposed to do? He is supposed to do installations. And installations cannot happen with normal user. He needs to have permissions, and that permissions I am calling as sudo. Second done. And now third, where do I need to do all of this from? Ansible control server. I will not be doing it manually. Okay, so every time providing a password is pain for me. So that's why what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go with something called as key based authentication. Something called as key based authentication. When I go with key based authentication, if the key matches, it will not ask me for password. So that I am following a secured route. I am logging in at every machine. Auditing is enabled. I have all the security stuff which I am trying to do. Still, I have an access. Yes, clear. Now let me look at web. Okay, I think I have explained, but if you have any further questions, you can ask me on this. Setup is simple. To do this, we need to know Linux command. That we'll worry about it at the later point of time. But if these steps are clear, it is very simple for you to understand what I am trying to speak about. Right? Okay. Can we call it as passwordless authentication? I will call it as key-based authentication. Yes, it is passwordless. It is. Now I'll be doing that key-based authentication very soon. In this class itself, I'll be showing you one way of key-based authentication. Right? Yeah. Can we have LDAP-based authentication? You can. You can. But on the Linux servers, generally we will not have an administrator as an LDAP user. No. Administrator should not be an LDAP user. That's the problem. Why we don't generally prefer that. On the Windows world, yes. On the Windows world, you have to create it. But if you are on the Linux world, I don't recommend creating an LDAP user. Yeah. Okay. So these steps are logical, right? Yeah. When I am doing it in Linux, I'll be following this stuff itself. Yeah. For doing this, to achieve this in Linux, we need to know some commands. That's it. Okay. So for the people who are new to Linux, whenever I'm doing anything over here, creating the user, I might be using something like user add or add user, whatever it is. So that is the command which will add the user, right? And then I need to add the user to the sudo group. Then I'll be doing something called as vi sudo, right? And then basically I need to enable key-based authentication, right? For that I have to create a key and copy a key. There will be 2 or 3 steps over here. So my intention is this, but for achieving this, I'll be using Linux commands. That is what it is. But these 3 things, please do remember. If you remember these 3 steps, Ansible setup is the most simplest. If you have any confusion in this, you'll never be able to make out what I have done, because there will be series of commands which I'll be executing. Right? Good. Now, so this is our first stuff. Okay. So this is something which we'll do in Linux. Good. And now here, what is that we are supposed to do? We are supposed to write. We are supposed to write playbooks. And what are playbooks? Playbook is nothing but an YAML file. So what is that area? So let us try to understand that. Nah, not this. Yeah, this is also a playbook. What? Let me go into something which is more decent. That is one sort of a playbook. What is written over there? Nothing. Literally 3-word statement. That's it. Right? So how do I write these kind of files, and how do I write? Okay. Something like this. What are these things? Okay. So for writing this, we need to basically know YAML. Okay. So once you know YAML, whatever you are seeing over there will look quite simple. Will look quite simple. So let us try to understand YAML first. Okay. And then try to look at this file after we have a basic understanding of YAML. Make sense? Right? Okay. So everyone has pen and paper with you. Today we have a hell lot of work to do. Right? So what is YAML file? Why is it required? Okay. So YAML is a file to represent data. YAML is a file to represent data. So when it started, the name of the YAML was at another markup language. But now you look at it, people are calling it as it ain't a markup language. This markup language kadantunaru. But when it started, the name of it was, it is one more markup language. Right? But it is now, it has a wider purposes. and YAML will be using many times during our DevOps journey. We'll be using over here, and when we learn Docker, okay, for writing Kubernetes, we'll be using YAML. So there are many places where this YAML will hit you. All right. So let us try to understand what an YAML is. YAML is nothing but representation of data. What does that mean? So what do I mean by representation of data? I want to write, okay, about students in quality thought. I can use YAML file. That is data, right? So all of your information which I have in the sheets over there, that is data. So if I have to represent it in a file format, I can use YAML, right? That is what YAML is at a very basic note, right? So YAML file is collection of key and value pairs. What is it? Collection of key and value. That's it. So YAML file is used to represent data, and YAML file will have key and value pairs. That's it. Done. That's what an YAML is, right? Now, I want to tell about the name of the student. I want to tell about the name of the student. Key is name, right? Value is what is the name of your. Simple. Key value pair. Key is name. Value is whatever it is. So let us assume that I am trying to write information about two hypothetical students, right? Imaginary students. Okay. So let us use Avenger characters so that we will not hurt anyone's sentiment. Sorry, నేను ఇష్టం లేదేమో నా పేరు రాయలేదని. Right? Okay, fine. So name of the student is key, and the value of his is none. That's it. So key is name and value is right. So company. What is the company of Iron Man? చూడరేమో సినిమాలు అసలు. Yes. So am I writing about Iron Man now? So I'm representing a data about an Iron Man, and I'm just telling about the name and the company which he belongs to. So if I have to write one more information about him, probably age. I'm not sure what the age of Iron Man is, but yeah. Yes. So let us assume it is 40 or whatever it is. So now what is it I'm trying to write? I'm trying to pick the characteristics of him, and I'm trying to use the keys, and I'm putting it as values. And by the way, this is a valid YML file. So what is the syntax? Key colon value. Right? Good. Okay. Now let us assume that I want to write, okay, about the address of Iron Man. Okay, assuming he stays in Maitrivanam. Right? Now, whenever you are telling address, you can tell all of the address in one line. Yes, all of the address in one line. I don't want that representation. I'm interested in country, I'm interested in pin code, I'm interested in state, I'm interested in many different attributes of address. Okay, so now I have a key which is called as address, but the problem is the value is not a single stuff, so that I can start it over there. Okay, so I have many other keys within it. So address, street number 1, that is the first key of the address. Second key of the address, street number 2, state, city, or pin code, whatever it is. We have many other attributes, right? So attributes can be written as give 2 spaces. Generally we follow this 2-space notation because it is very much inspired from the Python world, right? So address street 1 is a key, and whatever Maitrivanam street 1 is, that is the value of it. So let me type some junk characters over here, right? And then city, simple. Okay, state, okay, pin, I don't know what is the pin of Ameerpet, but let me try to make a closer guess. All right, something like this. So now I have an address, and address is not a one valued property. All right, value cannot be expressed in one value. So that's why I've taken a representation where I have multiple key value pairs, right? So this is called as a simple type and this is called as a complex type. That's it. Address is a complex representation because you cannot represent address in one value. You have to tell multiple things about it. Simple? Good. Now, assuming Iron Man has joined Quality Thought and he want to learn some courses from here. So will he learn one courses or multiple courses? Or I'll not say, we cannot assume what he wants, but is there a provision to learn only one course or can multiple courses be learned at Quality Thought? Right? So now let us assume I'm writing about. Now in the address there were multiple multiple values. Okay, they all are telling about the same thing or a different thing. Same thing, is it? Street 1 pin code otena. They are telling different things about address. They are telling different things about the parent. Right? Now when I speak of courses, are they same things or different things? Yes. So whenever you are telling the same thing about something, then we call it as an array or a list. And whenever you are writing list, okay, you will use this hyphen and then you would say something like this. Okay, and generally, since this looks quite confusing, why did I start hyphen from here? Right? So if you don't want to get into this trap, give two spaces, both are same. Whenever you are writing an array, whether you start it from the beginning or whether you give two spaces, I would recommend giving two spaces because you will have a common way of writing everything. Whenever anything is a child of it, always you will start two spaces after the parent. Make sense? Right? Good. So we have written something about Iron Man. Now the problem is I had to write about two Marvel characters. I have written it only about one. Yes. So two Marvel characters, are they same thing or different thing? Same thing. So they will become a list. They will become a list, right? So are you agreeing to this point? Now what will I do is, let me just remove this Marvel and let me try to write about something which we all understand. Okay, I want to, everyone uses movie booking site, right? Yeah. Okay, so the thing which I want to represent right now is, I'll be generally, when you go to the Book My Show, you'll be seeing movie name, right? And when you click on the movie name, you will be seeing different theaters, right? So this is what I want to represent in YAML file. Make sense? Yeah, only that part. So what would be the key now? Movie name will be the key, right? What will be the value? Multiple theaters which you are seeing in the list. So let me start with the movie name, which is make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. This is a key. And value of it, what are the values of it? Multiple theaters. So same theaters, right? Telling about the same thing. Whenever I'm using a word called as multiple, I can use something called as list. So two spaces hyphen. And now to tell about theater, what are the different fields which I'll have? Theater game untadi, name, good, and pardon me, ఇంకేముంటాయి బుక్ మై షో వాడలేదా? పోనీ మీరు వాడే చెప్పండి, అయ్యే చెప్తాం. Pardon me? Time, yes. I'll use something like show times. And show times, is it a singular value or a multiple value? So yeah, so let us assume name is PVR, show times are 11:30 and let me use this 24-digit convention, it will be easier. Yeah, so that's it. Or is there any more things which you'll have? Price is a single property, right? And you can write something like 150, assuming that there is only one category of seats. Let us not make it too much complicated. Okay, fine. One theater is done. Let us go to the second theater. So second data should start from where? Exactly from this hyphen. Remember, in YAML, this ordering is very important. So I'll have one more hyphen over here, and now this time name again. This time it is Inox. All right. Again we'll have show times. Okay. Show times are multiplier in nature. Let us assume that Inox time is 12, and then we have one more show at 4. Can I go on and on? Now my skyscraper is done. So what is the other movie? ఈ మధ్య నేను సినిమాలకి వెళ్తలేదండి, అందుకని పేర్లు గుర్తురాట్లేదు. రైట్, yeah, fine. Okay, so now again the same thing, right? You go with the RX 100 and then probably you will have some more data over here. Yes, and then you will write one more movie name, and then you will have some set of data. So was this difficult to write? So now whenever we are taking anything, now what are the values which you are looking at? We will have a key, and key has a value, and whenever key has a value, value can be singular or it can be complex. Whenever the value is singular, it can be a string, it can be a number, or it can be a decimal, or probably it can be, let me add some more thing to it. So let us assume that name, price is in mall. That is my key. My key is whether this data is in mall or not. The answer to it is, generally we take the Boolean notation and we try to write true or false. But in YAML, the best part is you can use yes or no. Yes is true and no is false. So there is no need for you to use true false notation. You can go with yes no notation also. Right? So these are the kind of things. So for any key, the value can be string, number, Boolean, array, right, and object. By the way, this is an object. Object is a value where you cannot express it in one key value pair. That is an object. So the value of YAML could be what? A list, string, array, object. So I'm removing all of that. So I'll have key colon value, and value can be string or number, whether it is decimal, integer, doesn't matter, right? And then Boolean, list or array, okay, or object. Simple. That's what YAML is. Now let us just go to the file which you have looked into. Forget about those 3 hyphens. I'll come back to what those 3 hyphens are. But what is the first thing which you are seeing here? Single hyphen, which means it is a list item. The key of it is host. What is the value of it? Something called as group A. We don't know what that is, but are we able to read this? Yeah. And then we have one more property to that, which is called as become, and the value of that is yes. And then there is something called as tasks. Task is about multiple things. So the first child of task is an array. So the array has something called as name, and then there is something called as apt. This is nothing but a very basic YAML structure, right? Okay. So is this clear, or do we have any doubts in YAML file? Because you are going to write 2 or 3 YAML representations, right? Okay. How to handle changes of the date like address and name? We will change the file. Change అయినప్పుడు file చేసేస్తాం, because here it is not about coding, right? It is about representation. Who changes it? Your code might change it, but whenever you want to represent anything, any change in YAML file, basically you change the YAML file. That's it. For us, that is enough. But whenever you want to use this YAML file as a coding language in some other thing, then all the complexities had. So for us, we don't have all of that. We have to represent whatever we want in this YAML file. That is more than enough. All right. Anything that has to be changed, we will change the YAML file. All right. Good. Placing hyphen is a bit confusing. Okay, let me just take one more example. So let us assume that I am writing about a library. I am writing about library. So I want to write a YAML file which is about the complete library. And in library, what is that we would have? books, magazines, and probably CDs, right? Digitalized stuff, right? So my library's contents are categorized into three categories. One is books, CDs, and third one I'll call it as digital assets. It could be CD, pen drive, whatever that makes sense to you, right? So since I'm starting this YAML file, okay, I'll start with the first item, which is the key is books. Will I have one book or multiple books? Multiple books. So multiple books, generally we use hyphen, and generally you can start hyphen from here, but always try to write children or the child items with two spaces, hyphen, right? And then first book, what are the details of your first book? You will have something called as name, whatever the name of the book is, and then probably price, and then probably ID. వాయిస్ రాకుండా అవుట్లోడ్ ఎలా అడుగుతారు? గైస్, am I audible? ఏ మీకు రావట్లేదు అక్కడ? ఇలా వస్తుందంట. మీరు దగ్గర ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి ఎలాగుంటుంది. రైట్, ఫైన్, okay. So name, price, ID, and you will be writing certain book details over here. So then, okay, will there be only one book? No. Second book also has to start at the same hyphen position. So what is the hyphen position over here? Exactly this. So right, again one more book, name, price, ID, or whatever you have to write about a library in a book. So you might use who has taken the book or whatever it is. I'm not worried about all the details. So you write about the books, and then book is done. Now you'll be writing about. So will there be only one magazine? No, multiple. So we have to use hyphen. Again, the name of the magazine, okay, publisher, probably date, because generally magazines will have the volumes or dates of it. So one more magazine, name, simple, yeah, publisher, date, okay. And then the last one is digital assets. So digital assets, again hyphen, name, what is the asset, type, whether it is a CD or a USB drive or whatever it is, or a link. All right, you will continue like this. So in YAML, generally I'll use to represent the data in this form. That's it. No logic, nothing. Very simple way of looking at it. So in this file, I have just three values: books, CDs, books, magazines, and digital assets. Books have multiple values within themselves. Each value is about the single hyphen which you are seeing, a list item. A hyphen is a list item. List item. Simple? Yeah? Okay. Any doubts in this representation? You can go ahead and ask me, because we are going to write a new file now. Okay. So I know you guys travel a lot, right? Yes? Yeah? For traveling, what is that you would use? Booking tickets. Which one? Redbus. Okay. So can you write me a YAML file, okay, which will represent buses in Redbus for the people who travel in flights? Just you will be booking the site, right? Whatever, whenever you search, you get that representation, right? The flight is or the bus is available from this time to this time. I want you to represent that information in a YAML file. Yes? Can we start? Yeah? Please go ahead and do it immediately. And I am closing this file. I'll just, for your understanding, I'll be just writing a notation. Okay. Array is, we'll have hyphen. Okay. Or let me use this, key colon value. Okay. So this is the only thing which you want to know, right? And write about that information and just show that YAML file to. Okay, write it down. So don't worry that you should be writing the first YAML file which has to be correct. It's okay even if it is wrong. Let us learn it. తప్పులు చేస్తేనే నేర్చుకుంటాం లేదా నేర్చుకోం. Yeah, Muralidhar Reddy, don't write everything as a different question. Try to write everything in a notepad and copy it at one shot so that it would be easy for me, because I don't know what is your pattern over here. You have written something like booking bus, and then in the next line hyphen from. So I'll not be able to make out the order in that. So post it in one answer rather than in multiple answers. Right. Your Ansible interview starts with writing YAML. If you are unable to write YAML, the first thing which will tell is, yeah, we have finished your interview, you can proceed. So that's why you should be able to write decent YAMLs first of all. Yeah. If I have 1,000 movies, I have to maintain this file. It's a plan, right? So you will not maintain this file for 1,000 files, because in Ansible we never do that. But in YAML, if you want to do that, you have to write it. Okay. And by the way, if you know coding, there are YAML file representatives. You can write a for loop and store all of the data to the YAML. So don't worry about that pain part. So it is not our headache, right? So yeah, buses type. Okay, I think the format is missing in this, but I assume that you have written in the right format. Okay, మీ అయిపోయిందా బోర్డు కేసు చూస్తున్న వాళ్ళందరి మీరు రాసి ఎదుటోళ్ళని పరీక్షిస్తున్నారా? All right, yes, Hari Krishna. The only thing which I wanted to look in that is the format of what it is, but the points look good. But yeah, the only thing, as I said, alignment of it will be difficult over the questions. But yes, yeah, good for that. Yes. Okay. So for the people, how many of you are unable to write it? Let us be honest. So no one, only one person. All right. సో మీరు నేను పర్సనల్ గా మాట్లాడుకుందాం, మిగతా వాళ్ళకి వచ్చేసింది అనుకుంటా. బాగా తెలివైన వాళ్ళ మధ్యలో కూర్చున్నట్టున్నాం మీరు నేను. రైట్, ఫైన్. So for the people who are unable to write it, right, what is that we are trying to write? We are trying to write information about a bus. Okay, so just visualize that bus. What is that you will be looking at? You will type source and destination and will be seeing multiple lists. I'm not worried about how do you do that, but we'll be seeing multiple buses. So my YAML file is about multiple buses, yes or no? Yeah. So let me use some other software for this. I don't want to write it in, I want some help in writing this. So we'll be installing these softwares by the end of this class. I'll be just showing you how to do that. But let me go ahead and write something called as, let me write it as transport.yml. So generally these files are stored with YML or YAML format, right? Both are correct. Now, in the red bus or whatever you are booking, you will be seeing the mode of transport. So let me write it as bus. Okay. So when I search, will I see one bus or multiple buses? So I'm using hyphen. So every hyphen is a list item where you are basically telling about multiple buses. And for each bus, what are the different details which you see? So first is probably travels. What travels does it belong to? Right? It does. Your section and my section doesn't need to be same. It's okay even if they are different slightly. Right? And then source. Sorry. Source, destination, pickup. And will there be only one pickup in Hyderabad or multiple pickups in Hyderabad? So again, list item, right? Yes. I'll be writing couple of them so that the confusion is not there. Okay. And then we'll have something like price or fare, whatever you call it, right? And then you will bus will have type, or you can go on and on. There is nothing wrong in this. So travels. So let us assume RTC. Sources KPHB. Destination is Vizag, right? Price, okay. Type Volvo or seat or whatever you call it, okay. And generally, if you want to write type in multiple categories, you will be writing something like hyphen Volvo, AC, seater. You can also use that notation, whatever is comfortable for you, right? So this is my first bus, and similarly, I'll be writing one more bus, all right? So I have done one mistake over here, so this should be here. Everything is good, but after hyphen, you should have. Are you seeing the lines? Yeah. So whenever you use this tool will help you in just write it over there, over that hyphens. So that's why I said that I'll not be using Notepad++. I want some tool like this which will help me in writing it, right? So we'll be writing all of our Ansible files in this tool which is called as Visual Studio Code, right? Okay. Now what is the second thing? Again, travels. Okay, fine. And what is the source? All right, source KPHB. And now destination. Pardon me. అర్థం అలా అంటే మీ అని తెలియదేటలు నాకు లేవండి వచ్చినాక అప్పుడు చేస్తాను నేను యా పికప్ so in pickup you'll be having multiple pickup stations. Okay, I'm writing all of this because I want you to do this exercise, right? Fine, I have only one pickup point for this, all right? Price, whatever it is. So that's all. Was it really difficult to write this, right? Yeah. So this is what it is. Now let us assume that our red bus also shows not only buses but it also shows flights. Yeah. So then you'll have something like flights. Will there will be only one flight? Not really. You'll have multiple of them. So hyphen, right? So then number. Every flight will have some number associated with it. Okay. Again, source, destination, and you can go on and do this. Okay, we don't have water route, but if you have a water route, you can also just say ship or yak, whatever that makes sense to you. So this is what a YAML is. YAML is a very simple representation, right? So you will be writing keys and values, and the value of any key can be string, number, right? Boolean, list, object. You see any key in here, right? So the value of bus is list of objects. So which is a list at the end of the day. The value of flight is again list. The value of travels is a string, right? But we don't need to write in double quotes, right? So the value of pickup list. Making sense? Yeah. Okay. Good. So any doubts in this now? Okay. So before we try our last YAML file, there are certain softwares which we need to install before our next class, right? So first thing is we need to log in into Linux machines. We need to log in into Linux machines. For logging in into Linux machines, we need some SSH clients. If you are already using Mac or Linux machines, you don't need this. SSH client is already available along with your operating system. But if you are on Windows, I'll be using Git for Windows. But for the people who know, you can also use Putty. But I somehow hate Putty. It reconnects and it is not like Linux. So I'll not be using Putty in the classroom. If you want, you can try it out. And now, just now I have shown you an editor. Was it good? Yes. So we need to install Visual Studio Code. So one thing is you can go to the internet and download it and do it, but that is not the DevOps way. I don't like it that way. So what we will do is, for installing this, we will be installing its software on Windows systems, which is called as Chocolatey, right? So, and then I will tell Chocolatey to install these two things. Make sense? So we are doing 3 installations. So first, let us go and look at how to install Chocolatey. Okay, just you will be seeing over there. Copy this command. This command will be copied when you click over here. Okay, cmd prompt. Remember, you have to run this as an administrator, otherwise it will not work. This installation will fail. Paste whatever you have copied. Click enter. Wait for some time. Chocolatey will be installed on your machine. That's it. Simple. So go to the Chocolatey site, and then you will be seeing the instruction. Open the command prompt as an administrator. If you forget to run it as an administrator, installation will not work. Right? Good. And after that, what is that? What are the other 2 softwares which I have to install? Git for Windows and Visual Studio Code. So whenever you want to install any softwares from now on Windows system, just do this. Choco Git. Are you seeing this command? Yes. Copy this command. You will have PowerShell on your system. Right click it again and again run it as an administrator. Just enter this. It will install Git on your system. After that, I have to install Visual Studio Code. So again the same query. So Choco Visual Studio Code. What is the command which you are seeing? Choco install Visual Studio Code. Just do Choco install Visual Studio Code, press enter. I am not doing this because I have both of them. So let me try some other software because I don't want to spoil whatever is there on my machine. So shall I install this? So your command will be very simple. Choco install whatever you want to install. That's it. This will download the software, it would install it on your system, and you can start using it. Even if you want Google Chrome, Chaco Google Chrome, you will get the command, copy it in your PowerShell, and you will be able to do all the installations. I want it this way. I want it this way. I don't want you to download, double click, click on the license agreement, enter next. All of that is nonsense. So just use this. A command will do the work for you. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So any Windows setup, we will be 99% using this Chaco for all of our setups. Right. Okay. So what is the difference between YAML and JSON? Purpose exactly the same. There is no difference in the purpose why we use YAML or why we use JSON, because both are data representational formats, right? The difference is in the structure. The difference is in the structure. That's it. Okay. How you put YAML and how you put JSON, structurally they are different. Okay. So they are different ways of presentation. That's it. Okay. Now, so it's if you see this, it will take its own time. It will start downloading, it will install, and then it will say that, yeah, I've done. Once you have finished your software and you don't want to use it, exactly the same command, Chaco, uninstall Atom, and it will remove from your system. So installations and uninstallations can be done from command line, and this is what how I want you to do the stuff. Okay, good. Now let us write our YAML, one more YAML file. Can we use XML format for YAML? No. We want to get rid of XML. That's why we have these formats. Both that the basic intention of YAML or JSON is to get rid of XML, because XML occupies more space. So let me tell you what is the design, why all of this came into play. You are using Facebook, right? Right? When you are using Facebook for the complete day, how much data you will be using generally? Geo now. Let us assume what is the amount of data that will be downloaded when you are using Facebook? 500 MB, right? So if I use the XML in for doing all of the stuff which you are doing right now, it will be not less than 750 MB, because XML occupies more space. So they wanted to have a format which is as strong as XML but which occupies less space. That thought process has given birth to something called as JSON and YAML. That's the whole point of JSON and YAML. They basically have the same strength but less space when compared to XML. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now while it is happening, right? All of you might have attended your college, right? So I want to represent your college's departments, right? And anything about your college, right? In a YAML file. Can we get started? Yes. Please try it out. You are writing about your college, and whenever you are writing about your college, just think of what is that you want to represent. Don't write it directly. College, నాకు ఇష్టమైన ప్రదేశాలు, అది కాదు. Just think what is that you want to represent, and then write about it. So it could be about departments, it could be about cafeteria. I'm not worried what you are representing, but have an idea of what you are representing. Because this time my question is not show what is your YAML. My question is what is that you have represented, and then tell me your YAML. మీ రిప్రజెంట్ చేసింది ఏంటి, మీ YAML ఏది? That is my question to you, right? So you can represent anything which you like. Okay, I want you to tell me what is that you are representing and your YAML file. Yeah, you can go crazy, దేని గురించి అన్నా రాసుకోండి. And then whatever YAMLs which you are writing right now, just immediately after this class, try to type the same thing in Visual Studio Code. You will get an easier flair of it. There it will help you a lot. Yeah. How to write object as a value in YAML? We are writing values itself, right? So what is that your object had? Object had multiple key and value pairs. So if I open this example, for me each bus is an object. Each bus is an object. But how is that I have written it? This is how I have written it, right? So yeah. బ్రెయిన్ వాడితే స్ట్రెయిన్ తగ్గుద్ది అటు ఇటు చూడటం బదులు. About college, what are departments? Yeah, you can go ahead. Wonderful, go ahead. You can write about anything. I don't want to restrict yourself, but the thing which I want you to tell is what is that you have represented and what is, how is your YAML looking like. Pardon me. Triple hyphen I have not told in the class yet, so wait for me to tell. And single hyphen, I think it is a list item. It is a list item, array item. Yeah. Can you show YAML in JSON format? Yeah, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. But let us wait for some people to finish their YAMLs and I'll do it for you. It is very simple to convert YAML to JSON. Yeah. College, you'll have departments, good. And then, yeah, department 1, department 2, good. Places. Okay. Campuses, location. Yeah. Seems to be good. Yeah. Okay. So there was a question for me. How does the YAML look in JSON? So write about it. Meer continue చేయండి. So this is your equivalent JSON. Yeah. So both are exactly almost the same. Almost the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Finished? Yes. Okay. So what is it you have written about? Happy days, huh? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. So let me write about one of the thing which you guys have written. So one thing, what is that you have written? College? College.yaml. And in college, what is your representation of college? So what is that you have tried to tell about your college? You have tried to tell different departments of your college? Yes. And about each department, what is that you are trying to represent? Okay. So basically, you are trying to represent your college as department, and for every department, you might be telling what is that department about and how many students or some other information like that, right? So we are representing all of the information about a college, right? So first thing is in the college, I want to start with, and then I might also write something like name. What is the name of your college, right? Whatever the name of your college is, and then departments. Since there will be multiple departments, hyphen, and individual departments name. Okay. So let us assume arts, and then probably student count or whatever it is, right? And the other information, what is the other information which you are writing about? Pardon me? Student count రాశాను, ఇంకా okay. Okay, whatever it is. So if you want to write faculty names also, you can go ahead and do it, right? So similarly, you might have written about multiple departments. And what is the other information about your college? Probably something like achievements, right? Every achievement is an array item. Yes, any award which your college gets or whatever it is. So, and what else? ఇంకోటి ఏంటి? గ్యాలరీయా? గ్యాలరీలో ఫోటోలు ఉంటాయి సార్, దీంట్లో ఎక్కడ పెట్టను? Yeah, sir, for me that's the whole section which why I have written achievements. Gallery is more pictorial, right? We are representing data. Yeah, you can do that. Facilities, yes. Labs departments రాసేద్దాం, ఎందుకంటే labs I think it is specific at departments, right? So if you are on a computers department, you will be writing about labs, and then you will demonstrate each lab over there, whether it is a networking lab or whatever it is, right? Facilities, what are facilities your organization has? Yeah, whatever it is. So you'll have a list of stuffs, right? Easy. Yeah. So we'll take the same knowledge and we'll apply some Ansible principles to it, and we'll be writing playbooks. Okay, good. Yeah, good. So that's what I had. We'll be meeting again on Monday. Okay, so to continue our discussion on installing Ansible and writing our playbooks, right? Okay. And one more thing is, this is not for the people who have joined new, this is for the people who have been associated with us. So tomorrow's class, please watch it. I'm really not feeling well, I'm on tablets, actually I'm on antibiotics. So if by today 7 o'clock if you don't receive the message, any other message, you'll be having class tomorrow. Otherwise this classes will be postponed to the next week. The reason why I'm doing it is, on Monday I have mandatory training which I have to give in the office. So if I'm not if my health is not supporting it, I have to contribute one of them. So in my office that generally doesn't happen. So the tomorrow's classes might postpone to the next Sunday, right? If I'm not doing good, right? I'm already taking strong antibiotics, and I think if I can recover, we'll have it as normal. So today wait till 7 o'clock. Till 7 o'clock, if you're not getting any message, we are having class today, class tomorrow. If you get any message till 7 o'clock, we are not having the class tomorrow, right? Yeah, please bear with me on that. I have to mandatorily give the training in office. Otherwise on Monday I would have taken the leave, and the problem would have sorted out. But this time I cannot, right? Thanks for your time. Yeah.